The following program is paid for by Absolute Mortgage, a division of Finance of America Mortgage LLC, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 1071, AZBK 0910184. Tina Mitchell, MLO 145420, is a licensed loan originator with Absolute Mortgage. Visit AbsoluteLoans.com or call 888-90-HOMES for cost information. You're listening to The Money Hour with your host, Tina Mitchell, sponsored by Absolute Mortgage, a division of Finance of America Mortgage. Now, in the studio, local mortgage and finance expert, Tina Mitchell.
Welcome to the Money Hour on 1150 AM KKNW this Saturday, September 3rd. I am your host and mortgage expert, Tina Mitchell. I bring in studio each week the best of the best experts in our local market on everything money. I'm here to help you in today's economy. If you're hearing my show at a different time or day, you are listening to a rebroadcast, but I'm here to answer any questions or connect you with the guests that I have on my show today. You can call 1-855-400-1150. Again, that's 1-855-400-1150. or online at themoneyhour.com. And the lineup for my show, we have Keoki McCarthy, designated broker and owner of Real Living Northwest Realtors, investing in real estate with a group of people. That's my conversation with Keoki today. Also in studio, I have Wolf Pulse with Windermere Real Estate Yarrow Bay office. Challenges facing realtors in 2016 and beyond. And last guest in studio, Janet Greiling with Agent Review, the best way to find the best insurance from the best agents. Great information and great guests in studio. For more information on any topics discussed or topics you'd like to hear on future shows, please call the show at 1-855-400-1150. Again, it's 1-855-400-1150 or online at themoneyhour.com. And let us start out the show today with a little money chat.
Money.
Are you looking at purchasing a home in today's real estate market? If you are, it's important to have a checklist, not just a normal checklist you might be thinking about, but I just want to mention a few things you want to have on your list and have ready to go before you get out in the market. Target and objective, target price and payment objective. What is your target price, and what, more importantly or as important, is your payment objective, where you want to keep your monthly payment on a monthly basis? And then you need to ask yourself if those match. You have to be real with your expectations and know the numbers before you get out into the market. Next, really know your numbers. Know your per 10,000 purchase price, increase or decrease, because a lot of consumers may not know what that calculation results to. And it's going to be important when you get out in the market to get the home that you want, maybe to get into the market versus not getting into the market, get into the neighborhood or the school district you want for your children. If you're looking at a 20% down payment, every $10,000 in purchase price is $45 a month in the mortgage payment. If you're doing a lower down payment, maybe a 5% down, it goes up to maybe around $55 per $10,000 in a payment. So you can see it's a small difference or an increase in your payment for an additional $10,000 in purchase price, which again can make or break you getting into the market or the area that you want to purchase in. So knowing your numbers is really important before you start your search. Now, taxes. How are the property taxes compared to other areas? Most people don't realize that property taxes are only 40 to 50% based on the assessment value of your home. The remaining portion is based on levies voted for schools and parks. So when you get in your home, it's important to make sure that you open those levies and know what you're voting for to see how it's going to affect your property taxes. Now, transportation, if that's important to you, how is your commute into work? Make the drive during normal business hours before purchasing your home to make sure that it's a good commute for you and that you're okay with that commute that you might have to get the home in the price range that you want to be in. Public transportation, is that important to you? If so, is it close and convenient for you? Do your research to see what's coming up on the horizon for transportation, because there's a lot of exciting things taking place. So maybe some great things when it comes to transportation is heading in the area that you're going to be looking at. Next, neighborhood character. Talk with the neighbors. Find out what's happening in your neighborhood. How is the appearance of your neighbors' homes and their yard? How many homes in the neighborhood are rentals? Are the streets busy or quiet? Does your home get enough sun? So these are all important things to know and embrace before making that final purchase. Education. So a school district is important to you. Doing your research, obviously, on the school district and what that has to offer for your children. Walk score. I know that's that's important for a lot of people. I live in Newcastle, so obviously walk score was not important for me. But shopping in restaurants, is it convenient for you to be able to walk? That's what your walk score is. If important to you, health facilities, recreational facilities, entertainment, religion, all things to look at. Utilities and public services, natural gas power lines underground or exposed. Is there multiple water or public sewer system or septic? What's the water quality and the water pressure? How is the street lighting? Are all things that you might want to look into. Now, most important, or as important, the things that I have brought up here is a must list and a wish list. Be prepared up front to know what you must have in your home and what you wish to have. You most likely will find yourself giving up some things to get into the market, and know up front what you're willing to let go and what you're not willing to let go to get into home ownership. There's my money chat for you today. Coming up next on the Money Hour, if you are thinking about the possibility of getting into investment in real estate with a group of people, how can you minimize risk and maximize profit? We'll have Keoki McCarthy, designated broker and owner of Real Living Northwest Realtors, right here on 1150 AM KKNW after this short break.
What's a win-win for you? As a top real estate consultant, that's a question that is always asked of their prospective buyers and sellers. As the #1 real estate company in North America in agent count with over 100,000 agents and growing, that's a question Gary Keller has asked the top agents in the country since founding Keller Williams Realty International in 1983. Providing a win-win environment is central to building a company that tops the industry in training, marketing and technology, culture, and wealth-building strategies.
Hi, this is Dan Wingard with Keller Williams Realty in downtown Bellevue. You can reach me directly at 206-501-9728, or you can visit us online at kellerwilliamsbellevue.com. You can contact me directly, and I'll provide you a copy of Gary Keller's latest book, The One Thing.
When the time comes to sell an aging parent's home, there are many questions that require a reassuring expert. Wolf Pulse, a local realtor from Windermere Real Estate for over 30 years, has special training and experience to make that transition less stressful for all. Call Wolf Pulse for a free consultation about preparing and selling your parent's home.
This is Wolf Pulse with Windermere Real Estate. You can reach me on my cell phone, 425-444-2787. Again, that's 425-444-2787.
You're listening to The Money Hour with your host, Tina Mitchell. Sponsored by Absolute Mortgage, a division of Pinnacle Capital Mortgage Corporation. Now, in the studio, local mortgage and finance expert, Tina Mitchell.
Welcome back to the Money Hour with your host and mortgage expert, Tina Mitchell, right here on 1150 AM KKNW, the Saturday, September 3rd show. Each week I share expert advice and inside knowledge on today's events in our local economy and how it can affect your money. If you're hearing my show at a different time or day, you are listening to a rebroadcast, but you can always call the show at 1-855-400-1150. Again, that's 1-855-400-1150 or online at themoneyhour.com. Right now in studio, I have Keoki McCarthy, designated broker and owner of Real Living Northwest Realtors. We're going to be having a conversation on investing in real estate with a group of people instead of just investing all by yourself. Keoki, thanks for joining me in studio.
Thanks for having me.
And for my listeners that have not heard Keoki before, a little bit about Keoki. Keoki McCarthy, again, has been in real estate for over 20 years. He is the designated broker and owner of Real Living Northwest Realtors, subsidiary of Berkshire Hathaway. He has a master's in business administration and has been helping investors of all levels navigate the complexities complexity of investing in real estate. And exciting topic, Keoki, a little bit different. I haven't brought this in studio for a while, and really the benefits of being able to purchase and invest in real estate with a group of people versus doing it all on your own. So why is investing with a group a great way to invest in today's real estate market?
So the number one reason is that who do you think gets the best deals and makes the most money when they invest in real estate? Do you think it's the average guy or the multimillionaire?
Definitely the multimillionaire.
And why?
Security, because they have more confidence in that investor that they're going to be able to perform. I think that would be probably my guess.
That's a big one. But you know what the one that you don't really think about is? Think about and just think about our current market, why it's so hot and why it's so hard to get a house right now, because everybody can buy a $500,000 house. You don't even need much more than $20,000 probably, right? And so if all you need is $20,000 to buy an asset, of course it's going to be more expensive to buy it. And because there's all this competition. There's thousands of people competing all for the same thing. But when you get into the higher level things, there's not as much competition. And frankly, the higher it gets, the less and less competition there is. And so, if you can get to the level where you're negotiating with cities to buy blocks, there's like 5 guys. Yeah. And so your competition is so small. So how do you take that small guy who doesn't have millions of dollars, but maybe they have $150,000 sitting in their 401k, or maybe they have some money on the sideline and they're a little bit scared of the stock market right now because Lord knows what's going to happen with that as well. I've had the last building, so I put a group together, and the last building that I put together, almost all of them had money sitting there that they had pulled from the stock market and didn't know what to do with it. They're just like, I don't know. I'm scared to put it in. And everybody feels comfortable in real estate because
if you look at the history of real estate, even, it always goes up and down. But when it goes down, it's always going to come back up. So as long as you're holding it, it's a safe investment if we continue following the historical what history shows of real estate. And
it works for you, right? Yes. Some investments, like a stock, when you buy a stock, now some stocks have dividends, but many stocks, when you buy it, you're buying this shiny object and you're hoping that this shiny object will be worth more in the future. And the same with gold. You buy gold, you buy stocks. The money sits there, and everything you're doing is banking on that money, that thing that you bought being worth more in the future. But if you can buy something that works for you, that actually delivers money month in and month out,
someone else coming in and making a rent payment for it.
Absolutely, there's so much more value to that than just hoping that the market's going to take care of it. Yep. So it's two things. It's buying a property that will pay you to own it, but also getting out of the rat race. Quit trying to buy the $500,000 house that's going to get you, if you're lucky, these days, maybe it'll get you $2,500. Actually, you probably these days have to spend $600 or $650 on a residential house to get the $2,500 a month. And then the other thing that a lot of people don't think about is you're on the hook for property taxes and all the expenses. There's a lot of properties, especially if you can get into commercial properties that are higher priced, where the tenant pays for all of those things for you. So your return on investment can be so much better. A
benefit being able to get in and buy these commercial properties or these buildings so that you can have a group of people that are doing it together. Get out of, like you said, the rat race. Exactly. So what type of assets and down payment do you have to actually get into this? Do you need to have tons of money to do it?
Well, we just did one that was kind of fun. It was one that I'm also an investor in. But it was a building that we identified that was going to have about a 7% cap rate. Okay. So if you're not familiar with cap rate, it's capitalization rate, and it's just what you're earning on your money. And that's the simplest way to look. So today, if you buy that $500,000 house and you put a renter in, you're going to have to, even if you get 4% or maybe 5%. That's not counting any problems that you come up against, like if you need a new roof or if you need to paint or something a year or two from now. So you're lucky, and that's what you can get if you only have $100,000. Let's say that's about all. That's the only game that's out there for you, most likely. But if you can get together, so we actually had a minimum buy-in of $25,000 for this building. And we ended up getting a couple people at 25, a couple people at 50, and a few more at 100. And we're able to put more than 50% cash. And then the seller is totally gets it. If you're a seller and someone says, here, I'm going to give you half the cash for your building, and then we want you to give us a loan for the rest. They're in the same boat. If you give a seller $6, $7, $8, $9, $1 million right now, they don't know what to do with the money either.
Yeah. So you're doing a lot of seller financing on this,
or
you? Yeah. So
that's the ideal scenario, is because if we can get a group of people with cash together and find a seller who is smart. And this doesn't happen with houses, but it's way more likely in commercial buildings.
Yes. Okay.
You get in there, and we can convince this seller effectively that if they take this chunk of money, the worst thing that's going to happen to them is they're going to get the building back, and there's no way that it's going to be worth less than the amount that we've already given them. So they already know that they're comfortable owning it. They already know who the tenants are, everything else. So it's a real low risk to get a seller. They just most of the time want to profit something. They want to pull a little money because maybe they're moving it, but a good majority of the time they're willing to just keep the money in a loan, and you have a balloon maybe in 5 years or 10 years, or depending on their if they're older, maybe they want it quicker. But if they're younger, they may take it over a long period.
So how does that work? And when you're in the investment group, they're deciding whether or not they want to participate in each individual property that's coming into the investment group as an opportunity. Is that how that works?
So we have multiple types of people. I have people that are in multiple properties and we always do it as tenants in common. So they have each person has ownership. We don't do like it's not trading a security.
Okay.
You actually own the building, and you so depending on what building, we have ways to get people into buildings that we already have, but we also have ways for people to get into a pool that just waits. And when we identify a property, we'll go and we'll put a hold on the property. We'll get it all agreed, and then we just have to decide which investors
want to participate in that. And so when there's an agreement up front as far as what the long-term goal is for that property, whether if you're going to sell it after that balloon payment, or you're going to keep it and continue to rent it, or is there a vote that comes in when that time comes? How does that process
most
work?
Of the time, I don't want to deal with anybody that has money that might be needed.
Got it.
Soon.
So it's a long-term investment for them.
Yeah,
makes sense.
So we always say plan on at least 5 years of nothing. There's no out. There's no now. There's always a way. The nice thing is we have enough investors that we could probably have one investor buy out another if there's a family emergency. But we don't plan for that. It is this money is locked up for 5 years.
Got it.
And then after the 5 years, it's a vote. Yeah.
So we've talked about the benefit, and the obvious is just to be able to get into these commercial properties where you're not having all the competitive competition going on. There's a lot more potential for profit also in these properties, and you've got the rental pool that you're working with. What about the risk, Keoki, of doing something like this, getting in an investment group and purchasing versus just doing something on your own?
First, you can't. Unless you have the money, then this isn't for you. If you can do it on your own, don't do it with other people. You're set. But
doing it on your own, meaning purchasing that $500,000 home, or versus going in and purchasing a $3 million, $4 million building.
Way more risk on your own because of the fact that you don't have it. What if something happens to you? The nice thing about this is all the people in our groups, usually there's a few that have more money than they can use.
Okay.
And so that's a nice thing to have, because if one person gets in trouble, it's nice to have other people that can help out.
Of course.
The contract that we have between our investors, it's crazy. It's crazy long, and it thinks of every possible problem that could come up. It was written by a very well-known attorney in our area, and yeah, I mean, there's always risk, but if I were to say the biggest risk is that the market crashes, but we don't leverage. Like, we're not going in super high. You know, almost most of the time, this is money that people have sitting, and they don't expect to use for 20 plus years. And so that's the biggest reason why it's not risky. So we're not looking for somebody who needs to get this and get this going quickly. We're looking for retirement. You know, one of the ideal people is someone who has a job currently but had a job before, and they have an IRA from their old company.
Okay.
Because if you have an IRA from a company you no longer work for, you can roll it into a self-directed IRA, and that IRA can invest in real estate. And hardly anyone even knows that, because if you call your stockbroker, they'll say, no, you can't invest in real estate.
Yeah.
But you can. But it's a little bit complex, and that could be a whole show in and of itself. But that's the ideal person who has this IRA, and their current money is in the stock market and everything else. This is their other IRA that's sort of money that it's diversification.
Yeah. So are these properties cash flowing, Keoki, where people are actually taking income on a monthly basis out of them as well?
That's the beauty, is we try not to have people who need the cash flow.
Sure.
But again, if you put this money in, you get cash flow. So the one we did, I did the numbers at 6.5%. We just closed on this one, and we already have tenants in that's bringing it up to 7.5%. So imagine putting $100,000 in and getting 7.5% back. And here's the beauty: that's 7.5% of the money of the property working for you. We're not even talking about the cool part of the potential value rise,
increase,
right?
Correct.
Which is just gravy. So this is 7.5% money every month, and if it's in an IRA, this money goes into your IRA. You can't touch it until you start withdrawing from your IRA.
Yeah. What about areas, Keoki, that you guys are purchasing in?
Yeah, probably King and Snohomish County is about all we're doing. I mean, we'd look at stuff outside of that, but that's the main. That's where I'm comfortable.
So, Keoki, I've got a minute to take us to commercial. What shout out and call to action would you give to my listeners if they're interested in this opportunity?
I guess they'd have to just call me. I don't really have a website set up for this. My number's 425-835-3654. And I'd be glad to chat with anybody that's interested in this type of opportunity.
Perfect. And you can also go to themoneyhour.com. I can connect you directly with Keoki. And very exciting what you guys are doing. I've known you and Stephanie for many years, very close friends. We do a lot of business together. And I'm just really excited for the opportunity that you guys have for your family in this investment, and what you're doing for others that want to find a great resource to invest in. So very excited.
Thank you, Tina.
Thanks for coming in.
Absolutely.
Coming up next in the Money Hour, what challenges are realtors facing in 2016 and beyond? Wolf Pulse with Windermere Real Estate Yarrow Bay office right here at 1150 AM KKNW after this short break.
Are you listing a home for sale and want to stand out from the crowd? Do you currently have a listing that's been on the market longer than you anticipated? 3D for RE can help. Bring your properties to life with an interactive online 3D model provided by 3D for RE. It's like Google Street View inside your home. Potential home buyers can virtually walk through your entire home room by room as if they were there. Don't just have an open house on the weekend. With a 3D model from 3D for RE, you can have an online open house 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Mark Tillman of 3D for RE is ready to assist you with scheduling your first 3D data shoot.
This is Mark Tillman with 3D for RE. To learn more about 3D models for homes or to schedule a 3D data shoot, go to our website at 3D4re.com or give me a call at 425-260-6612. Again, the website is 3D4re.com. 3D4RE.com, and my number is 425-260-6612.
When the time comes to sell an aging parent's home, there are many questions that require a reassuring expert. Wolf Pulse, a local realtor from Windermere Real Estate for over 30 years, has special training and experience to make that transition less stressful for all. Call Wolf Pulse for a free consultation about preparing and selling your parent's home.
This is Wolf Pulse with Windermere Real Estate. You can reach me on my cell phone, 425-444-2787. Again, that's 425-444-2787.
You're listening to The Money Hour with your host, Tina Mitchell. Sponsored by Absolute Mortgage, a division of Pinnacle Capital Mortgage Corporation. Now, in the studio, local mortgage and finance expert, Tina Mitchell.
Welcome back to the Money Hour with your host and mortgage expert, Tina Mitchell, right here on 1150 AM KKNW, the Saturday, September 3rd show. I am dedicated to you, my listeners, providing you with the tools needed to make informed decisions on matters affecting your money. If you heard my show at a different time or day, you are listening to a rebroadcast. You can talk with the guests that I have in studio or chat with myself anytime by calling the show at 1-855-400-1150. Again, 1-855-400-1150 or online at themoneyhour.com. And next guest in studio is Wolf Pulse with Windermere Real Estate Yarrow Bay office. And we're going to be talking about challenges facing realtors in 2016 and beyond. Wolf, thanks for coming back and joining me in studio.
Thanks, Tina. Good to be here.
And a little bit about Wolf. Wolf is with Windermere Yarrow Bay with almost 33 years anniversary coming up as a licensed agent. He has over 1,000 transactions in 41 Washington cities and towns and has been at the same office, the Windermere Yarrow Bay office, for all but 3 of those 33 years, which is little unusual in the real estate world. Wolf is actively engaged with the local and state realtors organizations. He will be attending the Fall State Conference of Washington Realtors this month in Spokane. Past president of Seattle King County Realtors, 6,000 member trade organization to promote private property rights and foster professionalism in the industry. Wolf is working on finding balance between his busy real estate career and future retirement by splitting time between Seattle and Lake Chelan. Lucky man you are, Wolf.
Yeah, thank you. You know, I was just realizing when you read that, I think today, this is September 1st, right?
Oh.
Or not.
It's actually September 3rd.
Yeah, well, it's Labor Day weekend. I don't know. What weekend is it? Anyway, see, you said 33 years and my mind's going, no, this is actually, it will be the beginning of my 33rd year because I started right after Labor Day. And it was going to be my one-year career chance, see if this was worthwhile doing. So, I've done it 33 years in a row, tried to figure out if this is what I want to do. So here we are.
Here we are.
Who's counting when there's 30 years?
Exactly.
Yeah, but it's been fun.
So, Wolf, what's the biggest challenge that realtors face in the trenches during the year?
Tina, there's always challenges in real estate, because real estate isn't a constant thing. But one of the things that I think has come to light in my business, and I'm sure it is with a lot of realtors this year, is the fact that appraisals, which are integral to the loan process, have become very cumbersome and slow and have delayed planned closings.
Yes.
And I think part of the problem is, and it comes from an example of a property we just closed, that when borrowers innocently enough, they perhaps they're using an online lender, or in a case like this they were using a lender that was based on the East Coast. Those particular lenders may not have much of a presence here in terms of their connection with the appraisal management companies. And that creates some real potential problems. We were a month into a transaction and the appraisal wasn't even ordered.
Oh my gosh, that is so crazy.
Yeah, and so essentially we're getting just incorrect information because, the lender said, well, we're in Pennsylvania and we really don't have, this and so on and so forth. And by the way, the appraisers that are responding are saying that the property's too rural. So I had to remind them that Duval was only 20 minutes from one of the largest tech companies in the world called Microsoft, and it really wasn't a rural environment, but they didn't know that. So
for your listening right now, it is a challenge. Everybody's having challenges with the appraisal process. The timing and the slow up is in the recent, but finding out, making sure that the appraisers that they use in their management companies are local, understand that it's an urgency to get that appraisal ordered, which means the buyers need to give the intent to proceed. So, Wolf, are there any other challenges that are happening, or is that the biggest thing that you're seeing on the agent side right now?
I think that, I'm going to put that one as number one.
Yep.
And really because what I've seen from the lenders, everybody's on target, as far as, and we've all been taught in the industry is that what we used to, unless it's a cash sale where you make it close fairly quickly, you pretty much name your time frame. Here's the problem that I kind of see. When you're presenting an offer in a very active market, you want to make your offer as strong as possible. If you're going to put into your offer that it's an extended close, and by extended I mean longer than, say, 6 weeks, 45 days, that may not be strong enough for the seller to consider that as something that they'd want to take. So I think what happens is a lot of agents are optimistically putting in, like, say, we'll do this in 30 days.
Yes.
And it's just not feasible with the shortage, and there is a shortage in appraisers these days.
There is. And plus appraisals are up 300% from where they were last year. So I mean, you just run the numbers. But here's if the industry would just come to a new realization of setting the expectations. A 45-day is a realistic close. You can close loans in less than 45 days. But if you want to set things up for success versus failure, which your 30 days can definitely get in that area. So, Wolf, changing streams here, the upcoming presidential election, how do you see that affecting the market?
That's a question you get from both buyers and sellers. And to be honest with you, I think that there may be some slight effects on consumer confidence. There's every time you have something, a national election, there's a little bit of trepidation on people's parts. Well, if there is a new administration, whether it's Democrat or Republican, will that affect values? I honestly don't think that is really what would happen. I think what really we need to focus on and is always what happens locally. What happens in your local elections? What happens with bond, measures, what happens with things that affect people's taxes, and also things that are related to transportation, and of course education. And we've got some issues in our state. Transportation and education are one. We're still trying to solve the McCleary decision and also figure out what's going to happen with our transportation. It's interesting, Tina. A couple of years ago, I found a newspaper in one of my listings. It was an old newspaper. It was a house that was being cleaned out, and this newspaper was back from the mid-1960s.
Okay. It
was the Bothell Citizen, and now it's called the North Shore Citizen. I actually delivered that newspaper when I was 12 years old. That newspaper from 1965 or maybe 1966 had a quote from Dean Worthington, who was the head of People's Bank at that time. And his major thing in 1965 said, this region needs to figure out transportation. 1965.
Yeah, wow.
And we're still trying to figure it out.
Yes.
We're making some progress.
We're making some progress. Yeah. This progress is far out in the distant time, but we are making progress. So let's talk about the housing affordability. Puget Sound region, is it a distant memory? What do you see happening with housing affordability?
I'll be honest. I think it could be that affordability may be a distant memory, and I hate to say that, but I'm looking at it going back just even a couple of years. And I'd say in 2014, I had many clients that, first-time buyers particularly, that are looking, say, $350,000 to $450,000. And while we probably couldn't accommodate them with single-family residences within, say, Bellevue, Redmond, Kirkland, and some parts of Seattle, if we moved out to, say, Bothell, Kenmore, or down to the Renton areas, there was inventory there. We've had, of course, inventory shortages. That's no surprise to anybody. But the interesting thing is I'm working with a client right now that just kind of tops out at $400,000. There's nothing single family.
Yeah.
There was a house I showed the other day. It was a HUD repo for $395,000. I don't think any of us would want to move in there.
That's crazy.
Pretty scary.
And, the interesting things is when we're going to see interest rates go up, because obviously that's going to have a huge impact. Yeah. So the lack of inventory, the risk of interest rates going up, it's definitely a time to take advantage now if you can get into the market. Wolf, what are your thoughts on the trend of urbanization of suburbia?
Well, the thing I meant by that is, and when we pose these questions, is that as we've been noticing in a lot of the suburban cities, and for example, I'll use Redmond and my hometown Kirkland, but also in areas like Duval and most noticeably in areas like Bothell, where I grew up, is that those downtown corridors have become a lot like what we would see in Greenwood in Seattle or some of the more urban areas. And there's a lot of people that kind of go, oh, geez, that's really not what we want to see in our little town. But the reality is, to me, is that, we have the demand there. People need to live somewhere. They like to live in nice areas. And the construction, like, say, for example, in Bothell, to my knowledge, Bothell was kind of a sleepy little town, and now it's a great place, and people are enjoying it. McMenamins is a great place to go.
Yes.
The old Anderson School, I think we've all been there and enjoyed it, and it's a great place to be. And you talked earlier about walkability scores.
Yes,
those places have it, so we don't require a car if we live in those areas. So it's a good thing. In my opinion.
So, Wolf, what about getting into real estate? If I have any listeners that are considering real estate as a career, what is your advice to them? Is now a good time to consider that?
Great question. I think you've asked me that before, and I'm not sure what I answered before. Real estate has changed in 33 years, but it's also
Everything
like a lot
changes.
of things. It's also, there's still some basics that are the same. A lot more technology, obviously, but the key thing is about wanting to be, if you want the career in real estate, is if you enjoy working with people and you enjoy helping people, then I think your career path will be a good one.
Yeah.
If that's not something you enjoy, then perhaps not. But if you like people and you like helping them, it's a great career.
So I'm assuming you're 33 years in real estate and your profession. Obviously, you continue doing it for such a long period of time because you enjoy working with people.
Very much so.
Yes.
There's a challenge, and like I tell my wife a lot of times when I do have a challenging client and stuff like that, if you have a job, a regular 9 to 5, and you've got bosses that just drive you crazy, that you're pretty much stuck unless you want to just quit.
Yes.
And, if there's a little bit of, if you're not working really well with a client, even though you're trying your best, you're probably only working with that client for 3 to 4 months. And then you've served them well, and hopefully they realize that.
Yes. So, Wolf, we've got a minute, and I want to ask you, I hear news last week announced that a major world shipping in Hanjin had filed for receivership. How can that affect real estate?
Well, I noticed that it was the Port of Seattle in Hanjin's, I think it accounts for 20% of the traffic that comes through the port. And, I think things like this are more important to our economy than we realize, because that, if the product doesn't get to Amazon and Amazon can't ship for the holidays, that can really affect a lot of people in our area. So hopefully that's something that'll be worked out, because the Port of Seattle is an integral part of our economy, and it'll be interesting to watch how that all pans out. So we'll see.
Well, thank you so much for joining me back in studio. And thanks for all the amazing things that you're doing out there for our area and for Realtors and, all of the boards that you've been a part of. Just a shout out to you and thank you, because that takes a lot of time away from your core, which is your real estate practice.
And thanks for having me here. It's always fun.
Of course.
Thanks.
Coming up next in the Money Hour, how do you find the best insurance from the best agents? Janet Greiling with Agent Review, the best way to find that right here at 1150 AM KKNW after this short break.
Are you overwhelmed by insurance commercials pulling at you to buy their products? Are you trying to figure out what you should buy and who best to buy it from? Welcome to agentreview.net. Finally, the best way to find the best insurance from the best agents. Agent Review provides consumers unbiased advice on common forms of insurance and highlights local agents whose credentials have been independently verified. We are the only online review company focusing only on insurance, education, and verified agents. Go today to www.agentreview.net and register as an agent or find resources as a consumer. Call 206-240-8274 or email Janet at agentreview.net for more information.
Hi, I'm Janet Greiling, the Director of Strategic Partnerships for Agent Review. Please give us a call at 844-824-3687. That's 844-824-3687. Or 844-8-AGENTS, if that's easier to remember. Or you can certainly email me at Janet, Janet, at agentreview.net. Thank you so much.
You're listening to The Money Hour with your host, Tina Mitchell. Sponsored by Absolute Mortgage, a division of Pinnacle Capital Mortgage Corporation. Now, in the studio, local mortgage and finance expert, Tina Mitchell.
Welcome back to the Money Hour with your host and mortgage expert, Tina Mitchell, right here on 1150 AM KKNW, the Saturday, September 3rd show. I've built a network of elite industry professionals every week sharing their knowledge and expertise with my listeners. If you're hearing my show at a different time or day, you are listening to a rebroadcast. You can call the show at 1-855-400-1150. Again, that's 1-855-400-1150 or online at themoneyhour.com. In studio right now, I have Janet Greiling with Agent Review, the best way to find the best insurance from the best agents. Excited to have you back in studio, Janet. It's been a little while.
Yes, thank you so much. I'm happy to be here.
And a little bit about Janet. She helps insurance agents increase their visibility and credibility so that they can reach the growing number of consumers who are searching the internet for qualified agents to purchase insurance from. With Agent Review, the agent and the consumer can find perfect match with a click of a keystroke. Place only the zip code and type of insurance that you seek, and AIR will match you with a choice of top candidates in your area. Now, the exposure is tremendous, and because of the company provides third-party verification, allows monitoring reviews, the agent has a higher chance of being seen, and the consumer has a greater chance of quickly finding a perfect match. And I just love how in life we can bring one thing together with something else and bring a perfect match. And that's exactly what you are doing here with the company. And I think it's just amazing. So let's give my listeners a little background of who agentreview.net is.
Great. Thank you so much. Yes, we're a website that's very similar to a Yelp or an Angie's List. We're dedicated specifically to showcasing insurance agents where consumers can easily find unbiased advice on common forms of insurance and highlight local agents whose credentials have been, as we said, independently verified by a third party. Our mission is really to empower consumers to be able to buy insurance from a trusted and reputable agent. So we're really trying to get the word out there that agents do matter in this online world of,
an online world of chaos. I mean, there's just so many people out there. And that's the reason for this show, Janet, and I've said it many times before, is bringing in the best of the best in studio, so to connect consumers with industry experts. And that's exactly what your company is doing, but specific in the insurance arena, finding that great agent. So who's behind the creation of Agent Review, Janet?
Right. So Agent Review was co-founded by Jonas Roser here of Bellevue. DFW, and Harley Gordon of Boston. Jonas is our CEO, and he has been nationally recognized for his insurance marketing excellence for over the past 15 years. Harley Gordon, our president, is a founding member of the National Academy for Elder Law Attorneys and has over 25 years of experience helping families with long-term care situations. He's been featured on many national sources and is considered one of the top 100 most influential people in long-term care. He's also founded the Certified Long-Term Care designation. So when you see that CLTC after an insurance agent's title, that they have been certified specifically in that area.
Okay. So let's talk about independently verified. Can you explain what that means?
Sure. So agents that carry a verified icon, a verified agent icon, or what we call badge on their profile, have agreed to let an independent third party contracted by Agent Review verify the various data points in their profile. So we've got a number of different things they're going to double check and make sure that that person is licensed correctly and safe. So therefore guaranteeing a little bit better results. And verified agents also always appear first on our searches. So when a consumer goes to the website, they're going to see the verified agents in their area first, then followed by the other two levels of membership.
So share the importance of having a solution like this.
Well, so 80% of consumers are looking for insurance information. When they start doing that, they're looking online. So 80% are searching online every day. So social media and peer recommendations influence about 93% of insurance buying decisions. So much like in the restaurant industry for Yelp or Angie's List or Home Advisor, those things, we take into consideration what other people's buying experiences are. So what little information is out there is often very confusing and contradictory. The educational resources that you see for insurance are usually biased towards an insurance company. In other words, that company is usually paying to put that education forward.
Wow.
So, we wanted to have a place that really addressed that problem, because there is no easily accessible resource that exists to verify an insurance agent's credentials, and there is no dedicated online consumer resource to locate those insurance agents. On top of all that, many online websites have language barriers for non-native English speakers, so that's a big pull on our website as well.
So, Janet, how does Agent Review solve these issues for the consumer?
Well, to begin with, we offer unbiased information on core insurance products and suggested purchase timelines, so a consumer can have confidence in their research that that the information is true. It's not being weighted by a specific product or carrier. Our education is completely free on the insurance products, and we translate in over 70 plus languages. So it makes it very easy for someone to click. With the click of a button, they can get all the insurance information translated into one of those languages, as well as the profiles of the agents they are speaking or seeking. And those agents can also go in and let the public know what languages they speak.
Okay.
So that person can get highlighted, if they have a specific language. So upon completing that kind of product research, consumers can review their local agents and then choose the very best that will suit their specific need. In turn, the consumer can then review the agents they have worked with and help others find best insurance professionals in their field. So since the consumer has a choice of choosing a verified agent, this increases, their success even more on our website.
So any tips in the search within Agent Review and how that works?
Sure. Well, there's a couple of ways to find an agent with us. You can simply go to www.agentreview.net and go to the search bar, and all search results are proximity based, so including the non-resident agent option. You simply have to type in the zip code that you're looking for an agent in, and then the type of insurance you're interested in purchasing, and you will be able to see 4-up thumbnail sketches of the different agents that are available, as I said, starting with the verified and then going down, because we also have folks that have joined us for free. And then you can also type in a specific agent to see if the one you're looking for is on the website simply by putting their name in our directory. You can also simply go to the Learn About Insurance section. As I spoke about earlier, this is the unbiased education section that's really written in layman's terms. So it's easy to understand what the difference between like a term life insurance or a whole life insurance, that can get confusing. And they can simply fill out a request form to have a verified agent contact them. We do only allow our top-tiered verified agents to follow up on these types of requests, but that makes it easy and takes the guesswork out for you as well. So once you're on an agent's profile, we do include a click-to-call feature for click-to-call email, click-to-call or click-to-email. Makes it very, very simple and easy to get a hold of that agent. And a consumer can also choose to search in more detail by filtering things like if they have a gender specific, or if they really want to work with someone in the military, or, perhaps they are an avid fisherman and they want to put that in there. So they can really narrow down their search to find exactly who it is that would be a good fit.
What's important to them. That's great.
Yeah.
So there's some media buzz going on about agent review. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, we're very excited. We have articles being posted in the news on a very consistent basis. As you go to our website, you'll see a section and you can just click right on news, and we've got a blog and all the current articles that are out there. Encourage people to take a look and see what new topics are being brought to the table. We've had media traction from Consumer Reports and The Street, Forbes, Market Watch, just to name a few. It's especially with our unbiased education, it's really creating quite a stir out there.
Yeah, that's awesome. Congratulations for that.
Yeah.
And so for a consumer using the site, is there a cost associated to them to have access to this?
That's a great question. Thanks, Tina. No, there's absolutely no charge for the consumer to use our website. Agents that choose to become members choose a level to which they want to participate, and that's how our website is funded.
Got it.
So the consumer is completely free.
So what do all of the little icons and badges represent? That there are some agent profiles about, what is that about?
Right. So, just I call it bling or flair. When you're
like bling and flair.
When you're looking at a quick thumbnail sketch, obviously, the more bling or flair that they've got on there, the more your eye is going to be drawn to that person. So, for instance, people, when they fill out their profile, we want them to mention how many years they've been in the business.
And that gives them some extra bling.
Right.
Yeah.
So it might give you a 10-year plus or a 20-year plus, badge on that. So it draws the consumer's eye to, okay, this is a very experienced person, or they're involved in groups, or they've won awards. And of course, if you're verified, you have that special icon as well.
What about reviews? More reviews they get? Does that affect their placement there, or no?
Right. Yeah. If they've had reviews, they can. They have that as well. And then you'll see, just like in other review sites, we've got up to 5 different stars that are listed there. So, the more stars that are lit up, the more yellow you see, the more that person has been reviewed by their peers.
So let's talk about the review process and how that works, Janet.
Sure. So if an agent has all stars, the yellow stars lit up, then that means that they've had a review posted. If the stars are gray, I had one gentleman ask me what that means, and it just means they haven't been reviewed yet. So, we really encourage people to go ahead and, if they've had good experiences, and to get those reviews posted. For negative reviews, our team tries to work with both the agent and the consumer. So if we get 2 stars or less, those reviews come through before before it gets posted. The agent gets to see what that review is and then approve it to be posted. But if it's a negative review, that will go to, like I say, both us and the agent to find out exactly what's happened. Because, in the insurance industry, a lot of times people can be upset because they didn't get approved for a certain product due to health or monetary reasons, which really isn't the fault of the agents. We want to make sure that those reviews stay very true to, what the actual
But at the same time, in protection for the consumer, making sure that if there are negative reviews, working with the consumer and finding out what happened and how that can be addressed and solved.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that is why we have a team that will look into both sides to make sure that it is a valid negative review. And if it is valid, it will be posted.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So 2 different types of listeners possibly to the show. I've got an agent listening and a consumer. What do they need to do to get started with Agent Review?
Right. Great. Thank you. So because we are a growing company, and we are nationwide, you're going to find little pockets where we're still trying to find agents. We want to be as robust as we can in every zip code in the country. So, it's a great time to go in and take a look and go to agentreview.net. And as an agent, just simply click to register as an agent and follow the easy steps for the level that you might choose. And if you're a consumer, just go straight onto the site, agentreview.net, and just begin to look around, read the articles, and start searching. And
wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, Janet, thank you so much for coming in and joining me in studio. Great thing that you guys are doing, really connecting consumers with the best of the best is important, and being isolated in an area as important as insurance is great. So thank you for sharing that with my listeners.
Thank you so much for having me.
This is your host and mortgage expert, Tina Mitchell, signing off for the day. Happy Labor Day weekend. Be safe, enjoy, spend quality time with your family, and do something special. I'll be here same place, same time next Saturday right here on 1150 a.m. KKNW.
The preceding program is paid for by Absolute Mortgage, a division of Finance of America Mortgage LLC, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 1071, AZBK 0910184. Tina Mitchell, MLO 145420, is a licensed loan originator with Absolute Mortgage. Visit AbsoluteLoans.com or call 888-90-HOMES for cost information.